Welcome back everyone to Alchemy Factory, and in the last episode we built this beauty over the back here. So we had a brand new system turning coal. We're quite rich at the moment so we can afford it. So we're turning coal into the coal ores into the coal. The coal goes through the crucible into, let's come up onto the top here, into coke. Goes through a set of 12 grinders to make coke powder. The coke powder is fueling this system here, and I've still got plenty of capacity on the belt. It's also fueling a steel and iron setup. So this is the iron setup here. Iron comes out the back of the machine into this box here, where we've got a lot of iron stored up. The iron comes down into this machine here to make the nails, and it goes into a box here. The other iron comes in here as a second priority into a priority splitter. That's going into this machine to make steel. So the steel as a byproduct of iron, which then gets sent back round into this priority splitter, or sorry, priority merger, to take priority into the Athanor, so this belt is always clear. The steel comes down into this system here, goes into a box at the bottom so we can store some steel, and does a 50-50 split, and then the rest comes down here to make the gears. Because we are going to be needing steel, we are going to be needing gears. Now, the next build we're going to be doing is going to be, we're going to start working to move our way into advanced fertilizer. Now, I do have some builds. It's going to be using this one. But unfortunately, I've not got enough steel for this one. So I'm just going to have to wait a little bit. I have also got another build I've been building in the background. I completed one, but I will show you step by step how we're going to do it. We'll probably end up changing some things. But I do like this setup. It took me a long time to try and figure out how to sort of break the rotten logs into its constituent parts and to get the belt balanced. So we'll start off by going and buying a rotten log. We'll have a look at the numbers. Now at the moment we are currently got a 60 belt. That will change as soon as we can go into relics. I will be then creating some bonus points to be able to put into belt speeds and stuff like that. So we've just bought a new resource, a rotten log. It will go in a standard wood saw or table saw. So let's just put it over here out the way. Let's just put the log in there and let's see what it does. So there's the rotten log. So a normal log would be 30 planks per minute, but this one is giving me two options. So it gives me gloom spores and it also gives me 24 planks. It still adds up to the 30 a minute the machine works at. So if I want to full belt of gloom spores, then I basically need 10 of these wood saws to control it. And that's what we're going to be at. And also, if we've got 10 making that as a full belt, then we'll have 10 times as much of this wood. So we'll have 240 wood coming out, which is 4 belts. So a stack of 10 would be converted into 4 full belts of wood. And it will also be converted into 1 full belt of mushrooms. Now, this is where you would be using a filter splitter. So if we go into the filter splitters, we haven't actually used them yet. We've used priority splitters and mergers. So your filter, your top part would be your mushrooms coming out because it's the priority. Oh, sorry. I haven't set up the filter. So we want to be filtering the top item, which would be the yellow, which in this case we would be filtering out the mushrooms. So if I clear that bottom belt, you should just see wood coming out the bottom now. Until the machine stops. Now it stopped, it just means it needs an output for the mushrooms at the top. And just to quickly show that, just going to put a belt there, you'll see the mushroom coming out the top now. And the planks coming out the bottom. And that's how we're going to be setting this up. 10 of these with these splitters on the edge, and then we'll deal with how the process is coming down But like I said, I need a lot more steel. So I'll probably just wait for this day to pass out and bring you back and do the quest for the next day. Okay, just while we're waiting for the steel to get up, I've just been having a look at some of the other problems. So a couple episodes ago, we took some of this fertilizer over here to supplement this line because it wasn't producing enough. If we have a look at the belt over here, it's quite sparse, the belt is. So I am going to have to fix that. I just want to have a look at the top ones. So as you see, these top ones are not getting the fertilizer anymore because I'm prioritizing it this way. So we just need to change this. I'm just going to stop that belt for the moment. I want the new stuff out of these machines to be the priority. So I think the easiest way would be something like that. And we want a priority splitter. Nope, we're going to be needing the priority merger. Because we want to merge two belts. Now we want the priority to be the yellow. So that should just plug straight into there. So this bottom belt is going to get the priority. And then this belt here we'll put as a secondary. So this stuff always gets used up before any of this. So just a nice little quick fix. I did talk about needing priority mergers and splitters on some of my builds. This was one of them. So we want you to go up to the next level. And then we'll put a belt there. But it will only use this fertilizer if this one can't keep up. So you see the top is stationary, it's allowing the stuff underneath to go in. And then it should still give me a full belt there. And then because we're not taking as much, we could also do the same over here as well. Break the belt here. And this time I'm going to do a priority splitter. Oh, that's a filter. You. So we want the priority to be coming out on here. So you're going to be prioritizing this belt. And then if there's anything extra, then it will join this belt. Just have a couple of redundancies in there. And then you'll see this belt won't be full anymore. It will start clearing. But I just want the builds to actually be working a little better than they are. So now that should allow this belt to fill up and have a constant belt going in there. And then if there's anything spare, it'll come around the top and then join this line just to help this out a bit. Now we are working towards advanced fertilizer, and then all these builds will be changed. Anything that requiring standard fertilizer will then be upgraded to using advanced fertilizer. But yeah, I do want to have a plan of something better in the shop than what we've got at the moment. Like this wall here, actually I can't move because of my money belt at the moment. But we do have some small floors. So if we go to the floors we've been putting down, the big ones, if we was to change the form, they become little small squares. And what we could do is have like a little platform at the top where we could feed products in. Now we've got access to cannons. That's a lot easier than it once was. Now cannons, for anybody that doesn't know, they go about 2.5 tiles, where a standard catapult will only go 1. A cannon can also go at angles, where the catapult will only go directly in front and 1 tile to the left or right. So definitely a lot better. And then we can have all the belting system up here for the shop. And then cannon shooting down to... We can have more units around. And then we can also put a floor across that side and have things shooting from there to these. So eventually I do want to have maybe 2 shelves of every product in the store. And that is something I am slowly working to. We will change this belt definitely pretty soon, because I want this wall to come out back 1. And I do want my money room, as I talked about a couple episodes ago. You go up to there, so that's fine. We could easily belt you on the 2nd floor. We'll leave that quite yet. See if I've got enough steel now to do my builds. Okay, end of day report for day 38. 68,000 we made. We didn't do any quests on this day, and we did manage to do one contract going out. Still only spending 40,000, but that will change soon as I can get the rotten log thing going. Still looking at why there's so much copper on the belts. There must have been a big backlog all the way around the back. That should have all cleared out by now. I'll just keep an eye on it. Maybe something's broke, or I've got money feeding. Actually, we had money feeding from this. Ah, that's the issue. This one's still set up for coppers. So every time a contract comes out, it's turned it into copper. I wonder why there was copper on the belt when there shouldn't have been. So yeah, I need to set that for 1 silver. And then that should fix the issue I was having with the copper. Okay, so let's build this big one. And then I'm going to break it down and show you how I built it. So a nice compact system. We have 2 rows of 5 logs fitting onto a money belt at the back. We will put this out in the open because I will need to split it. We have a filter splitter on the edge of every single table saw, which are these here. Now, belting it can be a bit of an issue. So this is what all this contraption is. So I'm just going to cut it from this point here from the filter splitters. And like I said, this took a lot of work to do. So off each of the filter splitters, there's going to be 2 lines. The bottom line, or I've got the mushrooms filtering on the top, hence why it's yellow. Same system as we showed here. Now the blue lines at the bottom are only going to be, off each one of these is 24s. Now to combine it into 4 lines, I want the lines to be 60. So first thing, the wood is all going straight forward. So 2 lines combine into a 48. The mushrooms is on this floor. They all come to the left onto this system here. So each of the mushrooms is going to be coming down from a different floor. So you will see. Well, let's get my angle. I got caught on someone. Okay. So the mushrooms, that is on this floor here. Might be better just to split this here. And yeah, let's cut it. Let's put it back into place. So everything's blue. That's probably easier to tell. So the wood at the bottom is coming out. 2 24s are combined onto a 48 belt here. And the mushrooms are all going to the right-hand side, which stops at this point here. The second tier. Again, both lines converge onto a 24, or 2 24s equal a 48 at this point. That will come into the lifts. Mushrooms will all come round here. Now that mushroom's coming into here, which will then come down onto this bottom here. So I'm getting 6 mushrooms here, and I'm getting 6 mushrooms here. So it's got 2 filter splitters combining. So this line here is going to be 12 mushrooms. This line here is going to be 12. Then we go up to the 3rd tier. Same again. The 2 wood meet up, comes out onto 1, which would be this filter splitter here. And that comes down as my 3rd 48 line. So if we follow this splitter all the way to the bottom, it comes into this line across the bottom here. I'll explain this later on. So at the moment, all we're interested in is each one of these coming down is 48. So I have 5 lines coming down, the 4 there, and then the 1 that's joining up straight onto the bottom. And then the next one is the same. We've got the mushrooms coming across here into this lift down. That's another 12. Same on this floor. Mushrooms are coming to the side. And just hidden behind these blocks, it will come into this one here. Is that on the right tier? Yeah, because mushrooms is on the top. Let's get some stairs out. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit hard to tell the top. And And like I said, it took a while to sort of plan these. So the mushrooms comes out here, round into this here, goes down as another 12. And then the top line comes round the top into this lift. This lift comes all the way to the bottom. And then that's another 12. So we've got 12, 24, 36, 48, and the 12 at the very front here. That equals a 60 belt. And the wood, you'll see I've placed them just so it's easier to get lifts on. So if you have a look at the lifts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of 48. 4 of the lines is easy. It comes out as a 48. So the 4 lines will just come underneath here. The last line is what I do the magic with, shall I say. So the last line of 48, I want splitting into 4. Because my belts run at 60 and I want the gap between the 48 and 60. And the easiest way is doing a 4-way split. So I've got the belt coming across the bottom here. It splits once, twice. So the first time it'll split will be from 48 down to 24s. And the second time it splits will be from 24s into 12s. Those then come across 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one joins here. Those 12s joins the 48, and that equals every one of these lines will be 60s. Again, I could build it from scratch, but each one of these now is I have got 4 complete lines coming out of 60, and then I've got the 1 complete mushroom at the side, which is going to be a full line of 60 on the mushrooms. But the most important thing with this is if your wood backs up, your mushrooms back up, and then you've got a problem. So that gets mum on the mushroom, so we could go straight into advanced fertilizer. But we have a problem. We have 4 lines of wood we have got to deal with. So let's get this in place. And to get this in place, we've got... Not certain what that line is down the side. Should be accepting coins. Why would you need coins at the front? Ah, yes, I know. So it is right. Leave 1 space at the side and let's plug you in there, but not plug all the lines in. So each of these is actually already being told to buy rotten logs. But as you see, nothing's joining the belts. So that one's going into this one. I'm just trying to remember how I set it. Oh, I set it up as a snake. So the money comes in at this point here, this point here. This here splits off, comes up, goes across, feeds the next 2 portals, goes up again, feeds the next 2 portals, goes up again, feeds the next 2 portals, and then goes up again and feeds the last 2 portals. But I don't want to connect anything up until I block some slots off, because rotten logs are 2,000 each. Okay, everything's plugged in now. Let's connect the 2 lines at the bottom and let's watch this magic. Now, there might not be enough money on the belt at the moment, so I'm just going to break this for the moment. I want all these coins to come into this build. And just for now, I'm going to break anything past that. So we're seeing the money going into here. That will purchase the log. And I've already blocked them up. And then we'll see money coming up here. So we'll see this one. He's now purchasing it as well. It's got 1 coin in there so far. The next one will then start taking the money after that. So we're getting a good batch of money coming down here. So this will be a good example. The money's going in here. You will see it coming out onto this level here. So it's going up the lift now. Then going into the machine. This will now purchase the log for this one, which it's done now. And then the money's going along, coming up, and it will do the rest. So it will slowly fill up. You'll see a couple of the lifts are working, so the first line's already backed up because it was the first one to be done. The wood off the second line is coming down here, which you'll see appear here. Just going to extend the belts out, just one more. That belt's going a bit funny, so let's just fix it. So the first line's backed up, the second line's coming down now. And slowly it will go all the way up until the fifth line's running. But we're getting the money in there just while we're doing other things. The second line, or the third line of mushrooms now, because that's the first line of 12. Second line of 12. Third line of 12 is coming down. We're slowly getting up towards the top, so these have now been filled with logs. Fourth tier hasn't been yet. That's why we're just waiting for the money to come through. And then we'll start seeing the mushrooms come across on the fourth tier, which is coming up to this lift now. That'll be the 2 6s combined to make a 12. That'll be my 40A. And then this needs to go somewhere. I think I know what that line was for, but I don't think it's actually connected to anything. Yeah, the third or the fourth line, because that's the first. Second, third, fourth line is then starting to back up. And then the last line to start is the one that's going to be split into 4 to make the line 60s. And it's crucial I do get the line 60s. As you see, there's a gap there, there's a gap there. That's where the mushrooms was took out. So the way it basically works is you get a mushroom every 5 and you get 4 pieces of wood in between. So now I'm seeing mushrooms coming along the top. The wood's coming below, so this lift should start activating now. All the other lines are backed up. They can't go anywhere until I get a process done with it. Just want to see if this is actually being used. If not, then I'll remove it for now. But I think I remember what it is. So you're going onto the bottom. You then get split into 2 onto the belt that's underneath here. Let me break the belt at the top just so I can show you. So it comes down here. It's getting broke there. Put it back in, otherwise it won't work. As you saw, 12's coming there, 12's on that line, 12 on that line, and the merging with the lines already to make the 48 into 60s. And then the third or the fourth part of it is this one here. So again, I could have built this from absolute scratch. It would have took a full episode and probably part into the next. So it just saves a lot of time. So now we have got a full line of 60s as long as I can do something with the wood. Now, funny enough, in tier 5, we have got a great wood sink. And that just means basically something I can chuck it in. And that's a Jupiter. Let's do the research. Oh, actually, we're going to have to do the research for the shaper first. So if you look at the Jupiter, it needs gears. Now, gears we know is just wood. It's also going to need 1200 wood. Again, that's just wood. And pulleys, we can have a look on our builds over here. So the pulley build is here. And a pulley build is 1 wood machine and rope. So the rope and wood combined. So there's another wood. Let's get the research for the next one. So all that wood we've just got sitting around, we've got a great way for chucking it in. The only thing I need here, which I currently don't have, is going to be fertilizer. But we can deal with that in a minute. So let's build that shaper we've just unlocked. And these two just go hand in hand. So the shaper here, you have 6 inputs and an output. So we're just going to put it here out the way for the moment. And we're going to set the recipe. The Jupiter. So it needs 120 wood. Well, my lines are 60. So I need 2 lines of wood going into here. So that's 2 of the sections taken. It also needs pulleys at 60 a minute. If we go and have a look at that machine again for pulleys. For us to do 60 a minute, we'd need 4 of these. And 4 of these means I would need 2 lines of wood. So that's 4 lines of wood we've got in so far. And then all we've got to do is build the gears. So if we have a quick look at the gears over here. For me to build 180 a minute of the small gears, we get 15 out of here. So we'd have to have 12 of these machines, which means we would need 60 large wooden gears. And if we have a look at the large wooden gears, which is for the grinder, they get done at 10 a minute. So for me to do 60, we would only need 6 grinders. So we've got a few little processes to do there. But that's a nice sink. Now, if you do have a look in here, we would need 3 for this. Sorry, 2 there. 2 there, that's 4. And then we need 1 line coming in for this. That's 5. Now, unfortunately, we've only got 4 at the moment, but we could easily deal with the 5th. All we've got to do is just chuck a couple of wood machines down, and that can be my 5th line. And that's what this was for here. You to come in, coins off the belt, comes into a purchasing portal here, and then it goes onto a woodcutter to make my 5th line. So we could easily connect this up now, but we need to get a rope build as the next thing. So let's just put you out the way for the moment. And the mushrooms is going to be fairly easy because that is just going to be an assembler. And if we look in the assembler, to make advanced fertilizer, do we have the recipe? No. Let's go and unlock that as well. Because this is the whole reason we're doing this build, is for the advanced fertilizer. And that's going to help every other system become a lot better than it is. So I probably will start building like a different rope setup over here using the advanced fertilizer. Okay, so this is the first one where we've actually been buying the logs. So we brought 29 logs and we got £58,000 just on the rotten logs. So this is the first time ever we've actually made a big negative. 26,000 we earned and 90,000 we spent out. But as you see, I forgot to top up the vitality potions throughout the day. So we wasn't selling those. So I need to go and get the shop filled up before I do anything else with this build. Okay, we've got the recipe for the advanced fertilizer now. And if we quickly have a look at the advanced fertilizer, all it takes is standard fertilizer coming in, mix it with the gloom spores, and then it makes the advanced fertilizer. So basically, for every one of these fertilizer plants over here, I will be changing them all, like I say. We've got better fuel sources to go into these plants now. And we'll have better fertilizer, so we won't be feeding these with basic anymore. All the plant stuff will be fed with advanced fertilizer. And all we need is 4 machines. 1 basic set up there for the basic fertilizer. Go into the 4 machines, mix it with the 1 line of mushrooms out here, and it will be perfectly balanced to do me 60 advanced fertilizer on a line to feed whatever I need it to feed. I will need to make more than 1 of these, because every line of fertilizer I want, I need 1 of these setups. But to make advanced fertilizer, do I have any on me? We'll do like that. So just to have a quick example, I've got an advanced fertilizer. Let's just grab a couple. However many it can make. Make 3. So we just take that stuff back. So if we have a look at... We'll look at sage first. Sage is here. So currently it is 20 a minute. If I was to put an advanced fertilizer in there instead, I do need it to be using up the other stuff first, so that was a bad example. I need something that's actually using the process, or something over here maybe. Okay, so you've all caught up now. Exactly when I want to prove something. Okay, so you're actually using... So this is flax at 30 a minute. I'm going to put an advanced fertilizer in there. Still using the basic stuff. Take all the basic out. And you will see that will be growing from 30 a minute. Now it's doing 60 a minute. So now one of these machines will match my belt speed. So we'll have a look at these next. So I'm using... These are doing 5 a minute. If I was to remove you and put an advanced fertilizer in there, I need it to use the stuff in the system first. Brilliant. So now this is doing 60 a minute now. So it's 12 times better than it once was. So where we needed 6 before at 5 a minute. I think the 6 was only doing the 30 a minute. I can just have one of them now to do a full belt of 60. Hence why I said vitality potions will become a lot easier to do. Just trying to find a sage. But again, I'll just say the sage does the same as the flax at 60 a minute with this fertilizer. And we can go better than that. Okay, the shop is fully filled up now, so we can make some money. We'll just have a look at the quests. So that one needed soap. You we could possibly do because we've got steel gears now. And you. So you're the bulk order that's worth... You've got 4 days. This has only got a day on it. So we can turn in the one quest already. That's going to be 36,000. We did say we needed to get some good money in. And we just need a bunch of more steel gears, but I'll collect that. I'll collect the pulleys and stuff when the steel gears are done. So we would need to build a fertilizer plant over here. If we've got the mushrooms here, we might as well build the fertilizer plant right next to it. So our fertilizer plant without the power, because we can take power from... Actually, we could probably get the mushrooms. Oh, I didn't leave a space under there. There isn't room. I could get the mushrooms over the top here. I've just got the mushrooms coming out the wrong side. Because what I'm thinking of doing is using the power I've got from this plant. But I could just put a new power plant down. We are going to need power plants on this side. Yeah, we'll just put a new power plant. So we did save a blueprint for coke powder. Let's just put you here. Leave a little bit of a space. And then I want you there to connect up to the line. But just for now, I want you to be connected up. A lot of the money is starting to back up down there. I have cut this belt deliberately. We will feed it back into the system as soon as I've got these up and running. And all these blockers do is it's just the initial setup, not how much it costs to run it. And you was going to be what? I think you're coal. Yeah, because you're a power plant. Just about grab it because that's why I leave my lab stands to allow me to do that. And then that one's an easy one to grab hold of. So this is a new one and I have a little bit of power over there I can utilize if I need to. Just for now, I'm going to move you over here just to give me some build area. So the next thing I need to do is build a fertilizer, which is currently this one here, but we will replace 3 of these down to 1 now. We don't need all 3 of these anymore. Going to make it more efficient. We could also turn around this, have this connecting straight onto the belt, taking it off the last machine. Yeah, that will work, and then we can have the sage output on the other side. But apart from that, everything else is the same. I think this is probably easier to cut from here. Okay, I think I've got everything I need, and then we just have to make some slight alterations to it. So, blueprint, restore the previous blueprint. And most of the stuff we need to change is on the back end of it. You do need to get plugged in there, and I need to leave line. Now, this is going to be making the fertilizer, so you can go there, I think. Okay, I've blocked up the slots. And I'm going to activate the portals now. Okay, portals are already activated because it's a copy. Buying stone, that's for these here. So we need to get power in, which is here. So let's connect you up to that belt there and to the second belt as well. Just make sure I've got no extra belts I don't need. Can't see from that angle because I've got everything too close. There's one extra belt there, which doesn't need to be there right this second. This is just feeding this at the moment. We'll need to prime the very last machine to get it all started. I've got plenty of coke. Let's just chuck some coke in each one. We're doing pretty good on these now with the fuel efficiency we've got with the better supplies. So I don't need to just cut down the slots in the... There's only 2 slots in each, so that's fine. Now we want to change this, so you don't no longer need to be there. I think I want to change this belt. That means you don't need to be there anymore. And I need to go and get a sage seed. So this is going to be my more efficient fertilizer setup, this is. And it's going to be doing about twice the amount. Well, these are 3 times better now than there was. And get rid of you. Just tidy it up the easiest way. Okay, tidied it all up. So we need, not the shaper, we just need a nursery. You can just copy a sage one from here, doesn't matter where. And we can just plug you right onto the back there. And then all we need is this output to join this belt. The stone should already be brought. Ah, forgot to get the belt all the way down. That does help. Money's totally backed up in there. Money's totally backed up in this system. The belts are all full. Still a bit more money coming down on the line up here. I can see it. But this is really expensive stuff we're getting into now. So we know the basic fertilizers coming out here are actually... Well, yeah, we couldn't just use you off. No, I don't want to use you off there. I'd rather you using the... Yeah, I'd rather you using the better fertilizer. So how would I want to do this? Put you down there for now. Because now this is the basic fertilizer coming out here. We need to send it into these. So we need 4 of these. We could just plug them straight into the back. But I would need to get mushrooms in as well. Okay, even with doing the quest, we made 110. And because we've got a lot of expensive systems going live now, we spent 812. So we do need to be careful. If I desperately need to, I could always take a loan. So which part are you coming out the machine? You're coming out that side. So I'm thinking something as simple as that. That would be the outputs or the inputs, and then all we've got to do is get mushrooms over here. Now, the mushrooms will not go live until we've got the... So you'd have to be out there until we've got the next thing, the wood dealt with. But I think that's just as simple as that. If If I could bring the mushroom in from there, that'd be really easy. And then the output from this would be coming from there across. And because we won't need much in here, I think on the very last one, I'm going to do a 50-50. We'll redo these belts here. But yeah, one sage can run the whole of this system. All I need to do is just add mushrooms. So if we have you there, we could belt you from the centre going left and from the centre going right. And then all we've got to do is connect these two up. So we've only got a couple of belts into here. Destroy you and set this back up for sage. And because I've got loads of them, we'll just chuck the basic fertiliser in there at the moment. And now this is coming down to here. This is where I'm going to put in a box just for the moment. It will have to be there because I don't want it to join to anything. All the furnaces are already full up to max. Belts have actually stopped because we've got so much better these are than the last system. 12 times better, I think it was, if I remember right. This system's all got to be kicked in. All we need to do is get mushrooms into this line here. So, easiest way is something as simple as that. We could put a lift going down. Let's do it from the nearest one first. Which side are you going into? There. Yep, the bottom's already connected. Just rotate the top. And then we just cut and paste that. And then we just need a belt. And then bring the mushrooms over. And it's all set up for when we get the other part running live with the wood. So currently mushrooms is down the back here. And all it needs to do is come onto here. We'll keep it as close formed as possible. Just need to find out where the last mushroom comes off. About there. That mushroom can just come back round on itself. And then we've just got to deal with the wood now. Which we know is going to go into a shaper for the relic. You was an extra one, so you can go. And then just connect up these belts. And we'll give it a chance to start producing some advanced fertilizers. And I can start sort of phasing out all the fertilizer I've got on me. And start replacing it with advanced fertilizer. All these machines are ready for the mushrooms. There is some mushrooms coming round. But until I get the wood moving, it won't be a lot. And as you see, advanced fertilizer coming out. One's going to go into here. But right at the moment, I don't desperately need it, so the line will just back up. And everything else will just go into the box. So all these go over there, and this does a 50-50 split, which is more than enough to keep this going. Now we could... No, I think I want to set the rope set up next, because I've got fertilizer here. Extending this for a rope build. Now, did I have a blueprint I created for rope? I think I did. For pulleys. Okay, I've got the items for that quest we've got on us at the moment, so let's just turn that one in. That's 88,000. Nice injection of cash we need because we are losing money. And the other one needs soap, so unfortunately I can't do that one. Okay, I think I've got the items now for this pulley build. And we're just going to put it out here just so I can go around it. We already know how pulleys are made. We've got to build here. Might have some pulleys on me I need to put away. That's fine. So, a couple of nurseries, but that's going to be going down to one nursery now. The nurseries go into thread. The thread goes into rope. The rope comes into here. This is making pulleys at 15 a minute, but we just need to increase this fourfold. So, before we would need 8 of those, we should only need 4 nurseries now for this build. We might be able to change some stuff about. So currently for this build, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going, the nurseries are going down into here. It's all getting ground into the rope. The rope's coming into these 6 machines here, which will give me 120 linen thread coming out. The linen thread comes in here, takes it down to 60 rope. The 60 rope then comes on to the back into these machines here, which will match up with the 2 lines here, which I need to take 2 of these lines to match up onto here. And all this needs is fertilizer. Fertilizer I've got coming in as a 3rd tier here. So we can just start dealing with the belt. Because we have got extra capacity on the belt, not doing anything. So I'm going to start my bus line now. Where is that fuel line? Here. So I did talk about this previously. I like my bus lines to have power on the 2nd, money on the 1st, and then I'll go with fertilizer on the 3rd. Just makes it easy. Instead of having to bring all the belts around the front, I'll have it all on a bus at the back. So any extra charcoal powder is going to come this way now. How are we doing with money? All the systems look like they have backed up. What about you? Yeah, you've got a few bits of money there. You've got money there. I don't think I need to connect you back up because there's just not enough on the belt at the moment. We'll just extend you a little bit to there. We'll put the ramp stands out to about there. That's going to have the power on. And then where's the fertilizer coming from? This box at the moment. Then we just put a tower lift from here off the bottom. And then we need it to connect one higher than this. And then this is where I'm going to start my 3rd line of the bus. And this fertilizer will then be able to go into whatever I need it to go into. Just going to chuck a bit of money in the pot. I think if I keep 23 on me, that's going to be enough. And then we'll send the rest into the system. Just to try and get these belts a bit better than they are, because they are a bit sparse at the moment. Yeah, that fertilizer that was in that box is now down here. And the more wood we use in this build, where would I really need this build here? I really need fertilizer down this side. It's a shame you can't reverse blueprints because this would be so easy. Where's my output? My output on here would be this line here. That would needs to go into the shaper. You would need to take from this. Output I can easily come and bring up the side. That's no issue. I think I'm just going to have to extend that line down to here to get the fertilizer this way. So, yeah, let's just pick you up. think I've sort of got in my mind where I want you to be. But you do have to plug onto this back belt. Do need to make sure I've got enough to get the lines out. But maybe there. That seems like a good enough place. So the outside 2 lines now can get plugged in. That will start using wood. That will start allowing to get more fertilizer. Those belts are all being used, so I can't get fertilizer in that side. It came into there, went onto the bottom, and then went across. Then this was taking it from here up onto the 2nd floor. Sort of caused myself a bit of problem with this. We'll take you up onto 2nd tier. This is going to be the pulley output. Maybe just up to there. Until I get the fertilizer plugged in, I won't be able to get anything out of there. Yeah, you're going into there. That will keep you going, but again, it's so slow. I only have to use 1 advanced fertilizer every 26 seconds. So if you have a belt of 60 a second, or 60 fertilizer, I'll be using basically 2, maybe about 2.25, 2.3 out of that 60 just to keep this nursery running. Okay, we're much better day. But most of that was from quest rewards. We made 137,000. We spent out 47. It was only because a lot of the stuff was spending out just to get the systems up and running. Even if you take the 88,000 off, we still come out with a profit just about. So if I want this to be running, I do need to get fertilizer here. And I think the best or the easiest way, just for now, I'm just going to plug it in this side here. Take it from the bottom, drop it onto that top shelf. So I just need these to go. We could kickstart some of this by just chucking some basic fertilizer in these. That would allow some rope to be made, which will allow some of the wood to clear up, which will allow some more mushrooms to go into the system. I can't remember if I set this up to be running off advanced fertilizer or basic, so I just need to have a check of that. So each of these is going to be doing, yeah, it'll be 2, 4, 6. Just need to check onto the machines. So currently I've got 6 lines if these are advanced. I only need 3 to make 60 a minute. 60 a minute, yeah, it goes down to 10. Let's work backwards. It's going to be easier. So if I want 60 pulleys a minute, which I do, it means I need 60 rope. Let's come to the rope machine. For me to get 60 rope means I would have to have 120 linen. And for 120 linen, it would mean I would have to have 6. Yeah, so it is balanced for this system. I thought it was. I've just put some basic stuff in there, so it won't be running at capacity until this starts moving. So the next thing I want to do is try and shape up this. We need 3 lines to be coming from that side. So I'm happy for you to be there. It's already set up. So I want to get the output, which is this here, with the pulleys. And you're going to be going something like that into the furthest one. We just bring it on the floor here. That's fine. And we want to be taking it off that top shelf. So let's just feed that belt in. Then we can take the next two, which is going to be the wood. Let's just make sure I've got the wood set up right. For me to do this 4 times, I would need 2 belts of 60, which I have. Connected up 2 60s. Next one. This will need to jump over. And allows a little bit of more mushrooms to be created to get me some more advanced fertilizer. And we can automatically put the pulley straight in. So we'll do this belt here first. So we want it to be taken from the bottom. Go into a better position so we can see it. We can see it's blue so we know it's right, and I can see the arrow going in the right direction. Fantastic. And then with this one, I might as well set it up. I want you to take it from this side, and I want you to dump you the same side as the last one. So that line can be extended into there now. Just need a couple of conveyor lifts over the top here. And I think I'll do it like that. We'll have a conveyor lift here. Coming out at the bottom. Taking from the shelf. Which is perfect. I can connect that belt up now. And then we'll do the same here. Dropping on the bottom, taking from the top. And then we can connect this up. So now in this, we have got the wood covered, we've got the pulleys covered. All we need is the gears, which is the 3 lines on the other side. But we have used all 4 lines of wood we've got coming in here now. I'm not certain if one's going to be able to control that. I might need 2 of you splitting off. Like that. You do a 50-50 split and all this goes into this system. Because I definitely need the advanced fertilizers to go into these for this to be running. Now, we do know that this needs... Well, it's just using up the basic at the moment. Is there anything that's got the advanced? No. It'll take a while for everything to kick up. We'll do it from here. So we're now 39 seconds the advanced ones are going to take in here. So that's less than 2 a minute. So I need less than 12. Each of these machines are going to input 15. So actually that would right. This machine going left and these going right. Is enough to get that doing. It's just going to take a little while to get started. And then let's change that belt. So we've got 45 going onto the line still. And if I need to, I can always put a pot here just to help it out. So yeah, we've got 4 lines coming into here already. So we just need to deal with the gears. I can't remember if I've got a copy of one which I was working on. Okay, I've just gone and grabbed one I was working on the other save. Probably need to do some alterations to this. Okay, I've just tidied up the build. So on this build, we can have a look at the numbers we've got over here for the gears. So wood comes out at 30 a minute. So a belt of 60 comes into a grinder. So that would mean 6 grinders, which will make 60 large wooden gears. The large wooden gears at 60 comes in to make 180 of the small. So then that means we have to have 12 of these. If you have a look at the build here, we've got an input coming in at the bottom, 3 grinders at the bottom, it goes up a lift, 3 grinders at the top. Output. Top ones go across, go down, join the top bottom belt. So now we've got a 60 belt of the large gears coming into this machine. We have got 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12 grinders. And then the grinders, I've got the outputs just merging up into 3 separate belts. And that's exactly what the shaper needs, is 3 belts. So all we need to do is plug in money to here. And a wood cutter. So easiest way would be, we could get money off any belts. We do know there's a money belt here. I think what I'm going to actually have to do is rechange this the way it comes in. I think the money coming up this side, then going across the top would be the easier solution. How is the money belt looking these days? Okay, it has nearly backed up, so that's fine. We can connect this one back up now. Yeah, most of it's backed up. And this one will give us a lot of money, these relics with. So if we have a look at our goods, relics sell 30 silver each. And I am trying to run this at full capacity. So every 10 minutes I should get a relic out. And all I've got to do is plug it in and the relic is live. So let's find a good place to plug you in. And then we can worry about where we're going to put the last. Because this does need a double set of wood cutters. Because I've used up all this wood here has been used up. I could build a second one of these systems over here. And then that will give me more spare wood I could have done. But yeah, buying some extra planks is not going to be that harmful. So yeah, let's cut this. And we just got to figure out where we're going to plug it. So somewhere around here, I'm thinking like that. Still got room to get in between the builds if I need to. And all I've got to do is thread them 3 outputs. Yeah, I think that's a good place. Let's just tidy up these outputs. So this one here comes into here. The second one goes into there. And then the third one goes into there. Could have really done with one more space. But that's fine. Because I want this to go onto a box. Yeah, that'll do. Let's put it here. And because this is going to be a finished product, we'll set it to blue. So I can store 2 relics at a time. All we need to do is just plug in the wood to this. It's a bit more belts than I really want to be on the floor, but that's fine. Into the 3, and we'll put the terror lift back here where it was. So we needed to take from the bottom, drop on the top. Actually no, we forgot to put the wood cutters in. So we would need this belt because this is where the portals are going to have to be cut onto, because I do want this to be run by portals. Might be a bit of a longer episode, this one, than the last one. But like I say, I do want to get this set up. So we do have the 2 portals on now. Just need 2 wood cutters converging onto that line. And this build's done. Okay, I think I'm 1 too close. Put you there instead. Can you go in now? You can. Perfect. And then these 2 belts can come up to here. And just to kickstart it, I do want to block it up before I start buying anything. And purchasing portal, we want to buy logs. And then I'll set the same on the other one. And what I can do is just add some coins. So I've added 600 into each one. So it'll purchase 3 logs. And that should start producing me a relic. So we're just watching the wood coming in now. So the wood comes into the first 3 grinders. Whatever doesn't go into there comes up onto the second tier. This is coming out as a complete 60 belts, that's fine. Now it's starting to come up on the top tier. And what I want to do is see this back belt be full. The gears are coming from the top down the lift. Now we're getting 4 in a batch. There's some sort of inefficiency there. It should... Okay, now it is starting full. Now I've got a complete full belt of gears. The gears are coming up here. Going up to the left into them machines. Going forward into the bottom, coming up this lift into the 3rd one, and it's coming round the back onto this line, which is taking it up to the 4th tier to do those 3. And then the output is just basically in reverse, combining them up, bringing them down onto different lifts. Because I need 3 belts, it has to be split into 3. So 1, 2, 3 combine. 1, 2, 3 combine. And 1, 2, 3 combine. That gets me the 3 belts. And now if we have a look at the shaper, we are now starting to make a relic. And this should be, as soon as we've got the gears caught up, this should be running at full power all the time. Just chuck a few gears I've got on me just to keep it going. So yeah, it drops down to about 6 or 7. I think there's still some inefficiencies because the belts aren't coming out as full yet. As soon as the belts are coming out as full, this will be running at full power. But that is a complete relic build. As you see, it takes a lot of time and space and money to do. We just need more money coming in because I need these belts to be a lot better than they are to afford to run this. Because these are, every time it in a buying cycle is 20,000 silver. Or sorry, 20 silver, which is 20,000 copper. Because each log is 2,000. It's 10 of them. Then we also have to buy the coal ore down here. But we do have a lot of coal powder that's just sitting around doing nothing at the moment. We have a big backup coming into here with the fertilizer. Okay, not a bad day. 76,000 we earned. We spent out 42,000 and we did no quests. So yeah, everything's running pretty good. Nearly a full line of mushrooms coming down. Should be full. I think once this is using all the wood, then it will be. Just need to wait for this system to back up. The wood should be coming out without any stoppages. Okay, we're having a bit of a stoppage on this line. And that line stopping occasionally. I think it's because it's waiting for this to catch up. Because these belts are still not full. But we've used everything out of the mushrooms. Now, in the next episode, we have got to do this again. Because the next thing I want to be unlocking is coming down to gloom spores. Now we can just learn the relic shelf and the knowledge altars. That's just material, just buildings to put things in. We do need to go into soap if we want to. I think we need soap for the turquoise, but we do want to upgrade some of our builds. So some of them old builds on the other side of the place, like the old rope setup and stuff like that, or healing potion especially, I think I want to move them into a newer system. The reason being is because if we can get an healing potion down this side, I could actually make turquoise off some of the healing potions that normally just sit in a box. Because I think that's sand with that. The gloom spores will need more mushrooms, but I can run that half efficiency quite easily. But I think the next thing we will be going into is this one. But we'll do that in the next episode. Let's have a look and see if there's any quests. But yeah, we should be 29% through getting a relic. So that should be ready in the next one. The belts are looking a bit better, not perfect. Belt is coming in here at full. Maybe I just need to change it so all the grinders are on one level. It's only 6 grinders. Maybe going up the belts are just slowing things down too much. Let's just do that. It won't be much of an alteration. But let's get it, try and run it at efficiency. So let's cut all that out. We've got the belt here. All we've got to do is just put 6 grinders down here. I do still think there's a little bit of an inefficiency with conveyor lifts, even though it says it's running full. Okay, I've got a better idea. I think what I'm trying to do is combine too much on a line. So I think the easiest way of doing it is having you come in onto the back 3. That should be a better system. You supply these 3, this supplies the back 3, and then it can all combine onto a line. Because they are definitely doing 10 a minute and you're definitely doing 30 a minute. So it should be balanced, this should. But when we build the next relic, we'll have 2 lines. Because I'm only going to do a 5 stack on the next build to make the gloom spores. 5 stack would mean I've got 2 lines output. You was a money line. I don't think I needed you anymore because I rethreaded it differently. That means there is some stuff here what doesn't need to be here, like you. You. Couple of belts down there. I can tidy up later, but yeah, none of this is needed. I changed the way I was getting wood in. Normally I'd put the wood cutters here and then have a line going in this way, but it made more sense having it this side. But yeah, I'm going to have 2 extra lines from the next set of mushrooms. One of them can replace this. So we could just cut that belt off. There's enough money here. Let's cut it off here. Just so it goes back round onto the system. But yeah, this can take 1 line and then the second line I could just use for charcoal powder. Or one of the other processes we needed. But yeah, fertilizer's coming out at a good whack. Definitely going to upgrade things in the next one. For these over here, I've got a lot of space being taken up. I can cut this down a big amount. Let's have a look at our random quests. So again, this one's asking for a Jupiter. We will turn that in on the next one, and that's asking for soap. Let's plug that in, but in the next one, I'll be able to get 64,000. We've got just enough gears to cover it. But yeah, I'm going to call it there on this one, and then I'll bring you back on the next episode when we've got a Jupiter. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.